me let my able producer and co-presenter introduce herself.
Good evening, Lagos. Welcome to VOP 90.3 FM, an evening rush where we bring you hot and sizzling topics every day. We'll keep you up to speed with what is happening and trending in Nigeria.
I don't know why I have a feeling that anytime you see that hot and sizzling, you miss pepper soup in your life, but it's okay. That is, my head just tells me that anytime she mentions that hot and sizzling, that pepper soup day your mind, but it's okay. We'll talk about that another day. So Lagos, let's get down to the discussion. So the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu react on Adamawa election, and we'll let you in on what he did say about the Adamawa election. INEC chairman Yakubu worse than suspended Adamawa commissioner. Who said this and to whom? Like my teacher will ask when we're in school, right? Okay, you get to know who said this and to whom they said it to. And in another development, suspended Adamawa rec disgraced Bauchi people. And who said this again and to whom? You will get to find out all of this in the course of the show.
He was said to the Adamawa rec.
Just calm
I
down
guess.
now. Just you like to answer questions. I hope you don't ask for extra sheets in exams. Calm down. And then only tribunal has power to void election. Binani asks court to review Adamawa poll. He says only tribunal can void poll because as it stands now, it have been announced a winner already. All right, we shall also look into that. And of course, Peter Obi sent series of tweets on reaffirming his confidence in new Nigeria and saying that intimidation, harassment, propaganda will not deter him from fighting the cause of a new Nigeria. We'll also look into this discussion. So as you can see, we'll have quite a number of discussions to have. And not forgetting the most famous of them all, as Adamu Garba, an APC chieftain, says, Peter Obi will never become president for insulting the North. How did he insult the North? And in what way did he insult the North? You would get to find out. Lagos, these conversations are on the front burner this evening. I would like you to chime in on them. And when we come back on break, I'll let you in on the guests that we have that will bring in legal perspective to this conversation. Stay with us. This is 90.3 Voice of the People's of an Evening Rush. We'll be right back. The Evening Rush with Precious, featuring sound and informed guests across various sectors to discuss matters arising on Hot Topic Pie.
What was the rate of inflation, and then what was the exchange rate?
Intense conversations, critical analysis.
What is wrong with those 200 million people? We can't even give our shares.
We sometimes disagree.
When we say our GDP is not an oil-dominated,
to agree. On Hot Topic Pali, Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. 90.3 Voice of the People FM, Lagos. Now you have a voice. All right, Lagos, you are welcome back to 90.3 Voice of the People FM's Evening Rush. So on the hot topic this evening, let's get to begin to dissect the conversations that we are having one at a time. So in reaction to series of tweets by the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, right? What he did say, beyond regaining our mandate, I am committed to lifting people out of poverty, and I remain committed to transforming Nigeria, starting from the north to every part of the nation. It was a thread, but this particular tweet was highlighted and quoted by a PDP chieftain, an APC chieftain, Adamu Garba. And this is what he had to say. He said, "We know you are insulting us. We, the Northerners, Mr. P2B, we are assuring you that as far as presidency of Nigeria is concerned, it shall remain in your illusionary dream forever." For P2B saying that beyond regaining his mandate, he is committed to lifting people out of poverty, and he remains committed to transforming Nigeria, starting from the north. I think that Adamu Garaba's concern is starting from the north. That's, starting from the north to every part of the nation. And he said, "We know you are insulting us," as Adamu Garba said. And as far as the presidency of Nigeria is concerned, it shall remain in your illusionary dream forever. I'm glad that, the spellings are quite clear and correct. Right. And then he went ahead to say, "You will never come close to it. You bigoted, religious, ethnocentric merchant. You can go to Finland to contend with your new Biafra government in exile." Wow. All of these insults.
That's a lot.
Lagos, we'd like you to jump on this conversation. This informs one of the conversations we'll be having this evening. I have a barrister joining us. I'll let you in on his full name, but let me just quickly reel out all the conversations that we have before we invite him. So, this makes one of the conversations that we have. Now, as a fallout of the election in Adamawa State and the announcement of results, the Adamawa State Governor Amadou Fintiri has said he went into the election against Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and not against his female counterpart, Aisha Binani of the All Progressives Congress. That he contested against INEC, and he didn't contest against the APC's candidate. All right. He said this today. Yesterday rather, during while he was making a speech on the outcome of the election. So it's quite a bit bizarre to say that you contested against a particular candidate, against INEC. And still on the fallout of the Adamawa election, right? The president-elect, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has congratulated the winners in Saturday's supplementary election across the country, urging them to brace up to serve the people with diligence and dedication. He also called on the police to investigate the excesses in Adamawa State, or the exercise generally in Adamawa State, where the Resident Electoral Commission illegally announced a winner of the governorship election while collation had not been concluded. So Mr. Tinubu stated this in a statement he personally signed on Wednesday. All right. So he has said that it should be investigated because it is not good what had happened, right? Good. And then INEC, on the other hand, the Labour Party, on the other hand, had said the campaign council of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, P2B, has reacted to the actions taken against the Adamawa State Resident Electoral Commissioner. So if you'd recall, the INEC itself had asked that the commissioner, apart from not coming close to the premises and not coming close to his office and all that, they've also asked that the police prosecute him, arrest him and prosecute him. And one would want to see that the INEC had to really remind the law enforcement agents for them to know what they were doing, especially considering the fact that you had some police officers by him. And what I heard was some DSS officers by him when that announcement was being made. Right? Okay. So now the Labour Party's presidential campaign team had all reacted to that. And they said that, that Hudu Yunusa Ari, they noted that the REC is still better than the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commissioner, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. A spokesperson of the Labour Party, Obidate Presidential Campaign, Kenneth Okonkwo, said that while the Adamawa REC did not promise anyone anything or waste anybody's time or money, the INEC chairman promised the beavers and electronically uploaded and transmitted results were mandatory for the 2023 elections, but failed to fulfill his promises. So Okonkwo said, he said this while reacting to UNISA's declaration of Adamawa State All Progressives Congress member, candidate as the winner of the election. So he said, so if you guys think that, what the Resident Electoral Commissioner did, usurping the power of the returning officer, what he did, you think it was bad? Well, I think that what the INEC chairman also did was also bad enough. That's what he's trying to say here. We'd like to take your thoughts and your reactions about it. And still on the fallout of the Bauchi election. A Bauchi-based Islamic, and the Adamawa election rather, a Bauchi-based Islamic cleric, Dr. Idris Abdulaziz Dusen Tanshin, has described the suspended Resident Electoral Commissioner Reg of Adamawa, Hudu Yunusa Ari, as a disgrace to the people of Bauchi State for because I think he's from Bauchi State.
Bauchi,
yes,
right.
For illegally declaring Aisha to be Nani of the All Progressives Congress, as the winner of the election. Now, the cleric, in a viral video on social media, was reacting to the Yunusa Ari's illegal action on Sunday, which led to the initial suspension of the collation of the results. And you recall that while that video went viral, there was someone who was protesting that action and said, "You are fasting. This is Ramadan. You are fasting. Fear Allah. Fear Allah. Fear Allah in everything that you do." That was what the man said. I could play that video so you get to listen to it again yourself. And then concerning the election, okay, all right. So Aisha Binani, the hero, has asked, that is the APC's governorship candidate right now, has asked the Federal High Court in Abuja to review the decision of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to void her. In fact, I'm coming. Let me take a deep breath. So, Aisha Binani, the hero, has asked a Federal High Court in Abuja to review the decision of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to void her controversial declaration as the winner of the Adamawa governorship election. Right? All right. So, the ex parte motion, was filed on Monday. So the Adamawa governorship supplementary election was conducted. But you would recall that that case we did talk about it briefly yesterday. As a judge, Judge Iku had said that, you know what, your lawyers should go and check this matter very well again. Let's be sure that it's within our jurisdiction to look into this case. And that again informs part of our conversation. And I don't know if you've seen those series of tweets by Peter Obi, and I'd like you to go through them again. I don't know if I would have time to go through all of them, right? So these are the conversations that we're having this evening, Lagos. Then another very important conversation we'll be having is as it's got to do with alleged Guinean passport of the president-elect, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as Minister for Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, said on Sunday in an interview with Channels Television that the Nigerian constitution allows citizens to have dual citizenship. So it's not a problem. It's not like in Cameroon. In Cameroon, I know you don't have the right to have dual citizenship. It's not that you're a Cameroonian citizen. If you hold a citizen of another country, you have to, decline your Cameroonian citizenship. That much I know, right? Fashola said this, that he did not think that having dual citizenship would prevent a citizen from becoming Nigerian president. That's what he said. And I could go on and on and on and on with that. As the controversy surrounding the life of Nigeria's president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not appear to have an end. Now, the latest controversy surrounds trending photos of Tinubu's alleged Guinean passport, implying that the president-elect has dual citizenship. And if you would recall, an investigative journalist, David Hunde, did make this revelation in a series of tweets, and of course in an article that he did submit a link to on Twitter. And his account was even, in fact, that tweet was pulled down. From his Twitter account, and his account was suspended for a couple of hours because of that particular tweet. And then there's been videos trending. As a matter of fact, there's also there's been a kind of subtle response by the Guinean government, as it were, because there is a Guinean news outlet, Guinea 360 News, that just tweeted something about it today, and they tweeted in their official Twitter handle. The tweet was in French anyway. The English translation goes, President-elect of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu's Guinean passport could be an obstacle for his inauguration. That's what that tweet reads from, Guinea 360. I think one of the official news outlets for Guinea Conakry. All right, Lagos. This forms our conversation today. As usual, we would like you to chime in and then we'd like to know your thoughts and reactions. But to bring a legal perspective to all of these conversations, we have Barrister Stanley Alieke in the house. Barrister Stanley, you did me 90 yesterday. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for joining us today. I look forward to having you yesterday. I look forward to us having like a field day and such an intense conversation yesterday. But I'm glad you're here today. So let's go straight to it. Adamawa State. Aisha Binani is in court. First of all, let's take a look at the action, what the court says, because she is probably quoting a part of the Constitution that says, in the absence of the returning officer, that any INEC official, an INEC official can announce a result. The returning officer was not on ground at that time. And an INEC official, the Resident Electoral Commission at that, announced the result. And it's on that ground that she's asking that INEC does not void that announcement. Do you think this argument will hold water in courts?
Now, what happened in Adamawa State last weekend is quite, will I say is amusing or is something to... I rooted for. I actually wish that she won. So
I did wish she won too.
To break the barrier.
I'm sad that this
everything.
is happening.
But you cannot. She running to court is sad. You cannot use the court to enforce illegality. We lawyers say that he that comes to equity must come with both hands clean. The truth is, what led to you, results are yet to be fully collated. The person who is legally in charge to declare someone elected or returned was not the person that did that. So that's electoral crime on his own.
But he wasn't available. There is a part of the Constitution that states that where the returning officer is unavailable, an INEC official can announce it, and that's exactly what happened.
There is actually leaked audio of a suppression of them trying to push the man away. The man is fully on ground already. What he said is that he does not want to be involved or the going about. And before this whole thing happening, there's actually an allegation, in quote, we are yet to hear, that Aisha Binani bribed the...
Oh, she's denied that. She's denied that.
The alleged 2 million naira bribe.
2 billion, not 2 million.
2 billion.
Sorry,
2 billion naira.
Don't insult that money. It's billion, not million.
I'm sorry.
So it's quite...
But she has actually denied that. She said she cannot bribe. You know.
No,
She said as a true Democrat that she would never bribe
They always
anyone.
deny until when we get to see evidences. But the truth is, what the justice said, he said that, okay, in terms of jurisdiction, this happened in law. We talk about jurisdiction. We talk about does the action, can you file an action in a place where the thing did not happen? Now, this matter took place in Adamawa State. Now, running to Abuja to file the action in Federal High Court, the court is saying, tell us, educate us. I think the matter has been adjourned to 26.
To 26, right.
By then, let us know if we really have the jurisdiction to sit on this matter.
But why would the court wonder if it had the jurisdiction?
Now, jurisdiction is actually a question in law. If, in fact, in judgment, an opposing counsel can raise an issue of jurisdiction, and that matter could be struck off. So the first thing to determine is, do we have jurisdiction over this matter to sit on it?
So should the lawyer not know that, or ensure that he
Before
determines the
filing.
right jurisdiction before filing?
The truth is, we lawyers, what they do sometimes is maybe ambulance chasing or something just to meet the deadline. I'm sure that they not just file in Federal High Court Abuja, they also file instituted an action in State High Court in Adamawa State, just to spread their wings and see whichever one that clicks. And by that time, that is delay, is actually that is to delay maybe whatever that will go on. But the truth is, the court cannot, is not, I already know that is not, it's just a tactic. You cannot ask the court to say that INEC does not have the power to nullify your purportedly declaration of governor-elect. Because first thing first, the result have not come to, the election is yet to come to conclusion when you are elected or purportedly declared elected, and the person that declared you does not have the power, the constitutional
An
power
announcement
to do
was made. Don't you get it? An announcement was made, and that's what she's banking on.
It doesn't
An announcement
matter.
has been
And for
made.
she to go ahead to give her acceptance speech, with the knowledge of the surrounding effect that got her elected, means that she is an accomplice to the electoral crime that took place on that Saturday, Sunday. So nobody wants to argue that saying that announcement, who declared you elected, has the election been concluded? That's what they've been looking at. So they going to court and asking the court to nullify, or ask the INEC does not have the power to nullify your declaration. It's actually an insult to the sensibility of we all. You are asking the court to put a seal on an illegality that brought you to power, which the court cannot do. Nobody can do that, despite the technicalities that the lawyers or the judges want to apply. There's no
Because
how.
I was going to say that, how about,
It doesn't. It won't happen. This thing is a clear case.
No, but we've been seeing a lot of cases of court rallying on technicalities against true judgments recently.
Like the Supreme Court's judgment on Imo State.
That one is totally
and
different.
Ahmed Lawal case and all of that.
The Ahmed Lawal loan is different. What the technicality that the court applied is the it was not properly filed. So it was brought.
It does not stop the fact that we all know that Ahmed Lawal did not contest for primaries, and that is throwing away justice on the basis of technicalities, and that's exactly what the Supreme Court has said it will not be doing.
What he said
but then it did.
It's not entirely correct. What happened? Not that he did not contest. The one that was the first primaries election, because he was vouching or trying to be the president, he did not contest. Now APC, because of what said that election was not properly conducted, and they conducted a fresh one, another one.
We all know that INEC voided that second election, the election that they went for, because there was no INEC representative in that second election. We all know that drama that happened.
Now that issue is actually in case of APC. Okay, that's not our topic because.
So it's okay. It's okay. So that's exactly what people's worry is, or what our worry is.
So, Barrister Stanley, do you think Aisha Binani's prayers isn't weighty enough or substantial enough to be heard in court?
It doesn't.
Is that what you're saying?
It won't. It will. There's no how it will fly. I'm so sure of that. It won't. If by any instance that the court even sit on that matter, then that means we are already in the jungle. That anybody can just wake up tomorrow and say, I'm now the president of Nigeria and I go to court and court should make me the president. There are procedures to this. That's why we have the constitution. That's why we have the electoral laws. That's why we have other laws guiding all these things. Anybody cannot just wake up and say and do this. Anybody cannot just, the law says that before someone should be declared elected or returned, the full result should be collected. Now, there are still, I think, 8 local governments left to be counted. And this person should be the person. There's no way that our law mandate or that in the absence, that means if the returning officer is indisposed. Now the returning officer is not indisposed. Now this man went ahead and declared someone.
He actually made that announcement 2 hours before time.
That's the thing.
The collation was supposed to commence by 4 p.m., but he direct made that announcement by 2 p.m.
That is them taking. I mean, that man should be arrested. I'm just wondering to see how the whole thing will play
because
out.
I was also going to ask, there were some security agencies beside him while he was making that pronouncement. Even while you had, I think, some members of the opposition trying to oppose what he was saying and all that, the security was there to guard him and all of that. So people are wondering, did INEC have to raise an eyebrow for security agencies to know that they would dig into the matter?
No.
Is it not something that ordinarily as law enforcement agents you would have known that no, this is wrong, is a breach of law, and we are here to maintain law and order. So we should hold responsible anyone who isn't doing what they should be doing. But they were rather guiding him.
We've seen security agents, in fact, this past election opened our eyes to a lot of things. We've seen security agents present when people are being attacked, when voters are being chased out of their polling unit, when voters are being threatened. So it shows you the rascality of the things we experience, of these people. So I believe INEC they're trying to save face. INEC is actually colluded to that what happened. APC actually colluded, but everyone is trying to shift blame because Nigerians raise their voices and say, no, this is not how it should be done. If not that if people say something, it should have. We know it. People will just come. We could see someone coming to defend what we see is a total illegality and things that say, okay, this. But it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be so. We can see the desperation of the APC to retain power. That's what actually played. And I think the governor-elect who is retaining his power said, I actually contested this election against INEC and against AP. He said against the big powers that be from Abuja. That's what he said. That's the truth. Truth be told, people so much want to foist that woman. People so much want to, as a disclaimer, actually wanted that. I actually hope that she won that election. But we cannot. If she must win, if a female president must be elected, if a female governor must be elected, there are procedures. We cannot put a seal on any honest because we are feminists or we want someone to break the barrier. We want someone. But if she must be elected, if someone must be elected, it must be done through the due process. Maybe it's not her time. Maybe she could try out the next 4 years. Who knows?
All right. So, Barrister Stanley, there's another issue. This, you may not have to give a legal perspective or legal angle to this conversation, but there's an issue I'd like you to react to because there's been lots of, statement about what is treasonable and what is not treasonable these days, and issues surrounding propaganda and people getting arrested or calls for arrest of people because of propaganda issues. So, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party did, tweet a series of tweets within yesterday evening, right? Let me quickly run down those tweets. Let me hope that I can very quickly. It's actually a threat. So he said, I encourage Nigerians to remain calm and steadfast in the journey to reclaiming their mandate of a new Nigeria. That is Peter Obi. He says, I will never give up on this journey until victory is achieved. And then he further says, I never expected the journey for a new Nigeria to be an easy one. The forces who had over the years lived off the old order are bound to fight back as is expected, as being experienced. Now he further says, if they come at us through land, air and sea, we will respond to them through land, air and sea. But we will remain law-abiding and will never give up on the nation. We are on the right path and will remain committed to the cause. I reiterate my commitment to building a new Nigeria that will be beneficial to every Nigerian. The struggle to reclaim this mandate is not about me as a person, but about millions of Nigerians who placed their trust in me through their votes. And then he further says, the millions of Nigerians who voted for me did not cast their votes, but they invested their hopes in me, and they deserve justice. So we must stay the course. And then he further says, beyond regaining our mandate, I am committed to lifting up people of poverty, lifting people out of poverty, and I remain committed to transforming Nigeria, starting from the north to every part of the nation. We'll keep this thread in mind, and then we'll move forward to the concluding part of the thread, where he says there may be more mudslinging from those who are against the emergence of the new Nigeria, but I would never be deterred by the obstacles along the way to victory. I have always lived my life in the most law-abiding manner. Sometimes, as humans, we make mistakes, but I will never knowingly break any law. I am therefore not afraid of the lies and propaganda against my person. They are part of the journey to a new Nigeria. This particular thread was quoted by Adamu Garba of the Labour Party, specifically the session where he said, beyond regaining our mandate, I am committed to lifting people out of poverty, and I remain committed to transforming Nigeria, starting from the north to every part of the nation. And then Adamu replied and says, we know you are insulting us, we the northerners, Mr. Peter Obi, and we are assuring you that as far as presidency of Nigeria is concerned, it shall remain in your illusionary dream forever. You would never come close to it, you bigoted, religious, ethnocentric merchant. You can go to Finland to contend with your Biafra brother in exile and all of that. I like your simple reaction. So we'll move to another conversation. Why are you smiling? I like your simple reaction. So we'll move to another conversation.
I think so like Adamu Garba, his tweet should never be taken serious. Sometimes if I read his tweet and with the jargons and blunders and the bad English.
No, this was very clean. This was void of any.
Maybe he has employed the use of a copywriter and editor, because I was surprised when I read it.
You read it like you read it again,
Yeah,
and you checked the spelling again. It's like, am I reading from the right handle?
For him to, I think I've met him in person countless of times. For him to say that someone like P2B cannot, is quite will I say is insulting, or is funny actually.
But
you rather say it's funny than being insulting, right?
A whole lot of people from that particular region keep saying this thing. They keep repeating this
now,
thing.
What did the vote
It's
say?
not just only
what did the vote say? No, I'm not trying to be political here.
We've heard Bashir El-Rufai say this exact thing.
That
He tweeted the
the
same thing. Yes, during the presidential election.
Yeah, I
he
think
made
I read it. He said he will write that
same kind of tweet.
Somewhere,
Yes.
But the truth is, just that the Nigeria factor. But anyway, saying that P2B, saying that from that part of North, P2B garnered a lot of votes. I think P2B won Plateau State. He won some other part of like
Benue State.
Some part like Midwestern and the rest. So saying that is not what the voters are saying. The voters want a new, fresh person, and P2B was able to sell his money. He was able to sell himself. He actually introduced a lot of things that politics is no longer how it is in Nigeria. It's not. He took it took the old politicians to lecture and told them that it's not no longer the game of you eating corn by the roadside, frying a carrot.
We didn't see much of that happen this election. We didn't see.
Did it happen at all?
Nobody went to the salon to make hair. Nobody did this. Nobody did that. You know.
To be effect. And
Unless it was during the governorship, we saw a bit of that in Lagos where they were fixing
yes,
cars
I
and
think
all
we
of that.
saw that. But it's no longer as rampant as it used to be. That trying to play, and that's Nigeria for you. They know that Nigerians, the highest percentage of the voters, they think with their emotions. They don't try to fit that.
So that's exactly why I'm asking this question, because this is trying to pull us through the same ethno-religious line, which is exactly what divides us. So do you think that politicians are deliberate about dividing us through those lines?
They do that. That's why when you see in terms of census and the rest, they will lay when it comes to this national wealth, or they will try to say there is one Nigeria. When it comes to census, you will be hearing that a state like Kano have more population that, because they are trying to get the lion's share or trying to toe that line, that because of the federal character that the state
system.
Yes, they know that Nigeria, that they hold this ethnicity and religion is more like a line that every Nigeria, especially the ones that are not quite exposed, that whenever you tell a northern Muslim that an Igbo Christian or an Eastern Christian, they believe, they're trying to create the notion that they are your enemies. And that's not true. That's not true. They're always trying to, and it's the elite that always does that are always trying to do this. And that's to show you how selfish they are. But you see them mingling amongst themselves. You see them attending parties, between themselves. But they will go back home and tell their followers and their supporters that these people, the Igbos or the Southerners or the Yoruba, is your problem as a Hausa. And that's not true. Nigerians, especially the elite, should stop doing that towing that line of selfishness, saying that you, Adamu, Garba tweeting that P2B insulted us as a Muslim or as with the Northerners. And when he tried to ask him, and that is for him to incite the Northerners to say, okay, P2B insulted us. We've seen all these things play out during politics and campaigns.
Thank you so much for responding to that. So then let's move very quickly on Fasholas, on the entire dual citizenship stuff, right? Former governor of Lagos State, Fashola, saying that he thinks that the Constitution permits, he's a son, so that's why I'm bringing up this issue, that he thinks that the Constitution permits one to have dual citizenship, whether you're a president or not. So I'd like you to react to that very quickly.
Yeah, I think
especially now that a Guinea news outlet has had a subtle response to it, not denying the fact, not denying the truism of it. So
I think even Fashola in his interview did not
deny it.
Yes, he did not deny it. That's to say that maybe most of them are aware. But truth be told, our law permit, especially citizen by birth. I think the case has gone to court. That should be 2003. One Dr. Willie Obede, I read about it, and Adibo Sola, that what was the issue is, can a Nigerian citizen who has acquired a citizen of another country contest an election? Will he not infringe upon the provisions, I think, from section 26 or thereabout to? And what the law says is that, not just the law, what the court said is that if a Nigerian citizen who has acquired the citizenship of other country, he can contest and win election and be elected. But the restriction comes in when you're a Nigerian citizen by registration, by naturalization, or by marriage. That is, you're not a Nigerian citizen by birth. That's when, if you have acquired a citizenship of other country, you are to denounce, or it is, even if you do not officially do that, it's deemed that you've dropped your citizenship of the Nigerian citizenship. That's it. So I did not see where the case have gone to court actually. So I don't see how the court will say, okay, because you are again, or because it has been found out, and that is not even an issue before the court. This petition has already been filed before this thing has been raised. So this citizenship thing is yet to be presented, tabled before court for court to make a pronouncement on it. So there's no way that a matter that have not been tabled before court, that the court will say that they are not busybodies or that jump into what they are not bringing for them. Even if it is something that is trending, there's no how the court will make until
someone files officially.
There's no, and this the time limit for someone for election, I think it has elapsed. So it is status bar at the moment. But even if it's already filed, I do not see a situation where the court will declare that a Tinubu despite the fact that it is alleged, because it's still allegation now, he's yet to accept or deny that he acquired the Guinean citizenship, that he cannot be declared the president of Nigeria. So I don't see where that.
So, but you know the aspect that, especially the investigative journalist who carried this news was looking at. He was looking at it from the angle that the Form EC9 of the president-elect, in that Form EC9, he had denied that he has not sworn allegiance to any other country. That is to say that when he was asked, do you have any other citizenship? And it was like there was a negative response, and that he also does not have allegiance to any other country. So that means, according, to that, it may look like one is lying before, like under an oath.
Yes.
You understand? So does that also hold waters?
Yes, I think to some extent.
Just that.
We call it perjury when you lie under
Exactly.
oath. But lying under oath is actually a crime, but it doesn't disqualify someone. Especially it does, but not when I think what the law says. I'm trying to get it right now. The Electoral Act said you have to file within 8 days when you find out that this person lied under oath, and all these things.
So you're saying that time has elapsed?
The time have elapsed. So when you are talking with maybe layman on the street, they will tell you that justice has been bought. But these are the things we call it technicalities that sometimes come into play. Now the time have elapsed. Now perjury does not invalidate someone being elected because it's not valid at the point. Maybe subsequently, if at the point.
So a case of perjury cannot stop someone that's already elected.
When he has been declared, you can no longer bring a criminal charge against the president, because
so that would have been done are you saying that this is a pre-election case?
Yes, this is a pre-election matter.
Oh wow.
Now, no matter what, you cannot, because they have this status that you cannot bring a criminal charge against an executive governor and against executive president. Maybe maybe you have to wait. Maybe after they have left the election, they have left the office.
But even when the person has not been sworn in.
No, there is, yes, it has been elected. It's a pre-election matter, and there is a number of days. I think 8 days for you to bring all these things for the court. And it is a party. What they call, anybody cannot just wake up and say, "Okay, I'm going to court." It is a party.
Has to be a party.
Yes, in that election, if you participated in that election, yes, that's when you can bring up a matter.
All right, thank you so much, Arisa Stanley. I'm enjoying this conversation. I don't know about you, Lagos.
A lot we do not know about.
Yes,
seriously.
exactly. So I'd like you to jumping on it now. Phone lines are officially open. It's actually 13 minutes to, it's 13 now, right? Yeah. Okay. Actually 12 minutes to 8 o'clock from our studio. I would like you to jumping on this conversation. The number to call is 0816 442 5875. 0816 442 5875. You can also call 0700 903 903 903. 0700-903-903-903. Same is also our WhatsApp line, but just with a 9, at the end. So it's 0700-903-9039. Hello, good evening to you. Hello. Oh, I don't know if I can hear me. Can you hear me? Hello.
I am hearing you.
Okay, good evening.
Pretty pressure.
Hey, my Mr. Darlington.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. Apple producer.
Sir, good evening, sir. You're welcome to our show today. You actually are our first caller, Mr. Darlington.
He's always on time. I don't know how he does that. And people will think there's a special line Mr. Darlington calls me with.
You have started. You are drawing the attention to me.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, yeah, go ahead, please.
Somebody should have called you first now.
Okay.
Greetings, your guest.
All right.
Precious.
Our guest can hear you. Yes, please.
This thing that the Garba said, was it a joke or something? I don't understand.
This what?
Are you...
This what?
The one about it to be that the presidency will not get to him and all that it will remain in the north.
That's what Adamu Garba said. He did not say to remain in the north. He, however, said that it will just remain a dream in P2B's mind.
Really? Okay. Are you not the one here who have been telling us we are one Nigeria?
Oh, Mr. Darlington, that is just one man's perspective now.
Hold on.
Is it because it's from a part of the country?
Hold on. Don't interrupt me. Hold on. The person that said this thing is not a roadside mechanic. He's not a meat seller at the market.
He was once a presidential candidate, right?
What? Is that what?
I said he was once a presidential candidate.
But this man is is official spokesperson for the presidency. He's a man is same as for God's sake. By the way, is he supposed to make such a statement? No, we thought that is going in Nigeria. Should somebody make such a statement against an ethnic group? Nobody will talk now. The moment anybody reply him now, they will leave the man that started it and fed the Igbo man. You can imagine the mindset of these people. If Tinubu has said that he will start from the Igbo, they will say, hey, he's an Igbo president. You have a problem. Somebody said he's going to solve it. You still don't want it to happen. They are comfortable with the level of poverty in the north. They are very, very comfortable, precious. These are the people you are living with. They are very comfortable. They are not bothered. You can imagine, one of the reasons why they hated Jonathan was those magic school he built, 165 of them. They were never happy. We have been saying this and nobody wants to listen. Look at what he's saying, and they are going to act it out, and there is nothing you can do. After all, did they not annul Abiola's election? Did they not? Look at the country you are living in. These people, they are not even remorse. They say this arrogantly. You were here when Gumi told us that all these bandits that are killing and maiming people, that they are their fighters, nobody should touch them. Any president that comes to, they will not support him. You were here when such a statement was made. And you are telling me we are one Nigeria. Anyway, we are taking note too. We are taking note. There's no problem. We had it very well. Good evening.
Thank you so much for joining us. Good evening to you. All right, Lagos, our phone lines are open. We'd like to take your thoughts, your reactions on the conversations that we have on ground. We should not expect more than the pedestrian comment from Adamu Garba said and his likes. He is a young man with 5 wives and 17 children. He is only doing hustles to meet up his responsibility. Please, there's so much echo. Okay, I'm sure engineers will try to do their best to work on that echo. I appreciate you, Simisola from Isolo, for that message. All right, going back to the phone lines. Hello, good evening. Hello. All right, I lost that. Let me move on to more messages that I have here. So this says, please, I beg you, precious, avoid low-minded comments from characters like Adamu and their likes. I'm coming back to it because it's almost like an epistle according to whoever sent it. I'll get back to it, but let me just go back to the phone lines. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Welcome.
My name is Fred. I'm calling you from Ikeja.
Fred, you're welcome. Go ahead, let's hear you.
Well, I don't understand what Adamu Garba mean by saying we from North. I'm from North now. My mother is from Taraba State. My father is from Adamawa. So let him speak for himself. He should not generalize. We the North. What do you mean by we the North?
And that's what he said. Now he said we the northern people have got that. Do you think? Hey, since you're from the north, let's even ask you. Do you think that particular tweet, that particular section of that tweet by P2B, was meant to insult the north? Because that's what he said. That tweet that says, beyond regaining our mandate, I am committed to lifting people out of poverty, and I remain committed to transforming Nigeria, starting from the north to every part of the nation. Do you think it was an insult to the northern people?
Nothing, absolutely nothing insulting there. Instead, you need to thank Peter Obi. You need to thank, because he's trying to develop what your leaders couldn't do. Buhari didn't do for 8 years.
You know the reason I'm saying this is considering the statistics that a major percentage of out of school children of the poverty index is in the north. So does it not look like putting salt on the wound already? Do you think that's what that's where Adamu Garba is seeing it?
Yeah, I can never take that man seriously. I can never take him serious. I can never take him. It's an insult to me too. I don't know that it's an insult to me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you. Thank you. I do appreciate you a whole lot. So let me go back to other calls. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening, Promise.
Yes, good evening. Welcome.
How you doing?
We're doing great. Super.
Fantastic. Yeah, I can see you. You ladies are looking beautiful today, as always. So you look beautiful always. Yes.
Thank you so much.
My name is Chuk. Yeah, I'm fine.
Your name is what?
Chuk calling from UK.
Chooks, you're welcome.
Chuk calling from UK.
Chooks, you're welcome.
Yes,
Go
thank
ahead.
you. Regarding the statement made by Adamu Garba, all I can say is in similar climes, persons like Adamu Garba, if he was as smart as he said he was, he would have founded his own company like Apple, and he would not find himself.
Oh, he
in
did
politics.
now. Crowing now. There is a Crowing that is like
it's
Twitter.
not like Twitter.
He's a tech guy.
It was a clone. How good is it? I mean, look, I can copy. I mean, he just cloned something. Not like it was. He didn't come out with his own outstanding, like, new stuff. He cloned. He tried to set up a social media platform that was already rampant everywhere. So that's a cheap job. That's a job that a secondary school leaver can. Okay, so there's not. He's in politics because, one, in Nigeria, especially the northern part of Nigeria, you keep the masses poor so that during times of election you benefit from them, and he's only doing what the only in the north have. I can say, really, because such statements are unbecoming. Really, such statements are unbecoming. Regarding the case of Tinubu having dual citizenship, I think the most used word throughout the campaign period for the election was optics. So if you listen to channels and if you listen to Arise, you always hear that word optics. They always talked about optics. It's about the optics for Nigeria. If the world sees Nigeria electing someone who has criminal charge, him, all kinds of shenanigans against him, that just tells you that they won't be ready to do business with Nigeria. Even China, So think about it. China was giving Nigeria lots of loans.
But China was among the countries that congratulated the president-elect. If they had a problem with that, they wouldn't congratulate. So what are you saying?
Yes, but China, the same China, just refused to give Nigeria loans.
Oh, that's another matter entirely. That's another matter entirely.
China,
I hope you know that does not have anything to do with our election. That's because of a different issue. You may need to go and dig out why. Just Google. A simple Google will let you know. It's not something I may say by myself, except I bring a guest, I'll say it here. But it's a different issue entirely. It has nothing to do with the government.
Completely agree with you, but it's called optics. If you are Precious, if you are supposed to strike a deal with somebody, you've already signed the contract. So the contract, everything about the contract is okay. But then you now hear of the person's corruption profile after you have signed the contract with the person. Tell me how we approach that contract that you're going to do. It's optics. Your mood will change. Your body language will change because they just say that this person will defraud you. He has cases of defrauding people, but you signed a legal contract with the person. So would you pull out of the contract because they will charge you for damages, or what would you do? That's where Nigeria point in time, and that's the way the world is going to be looking at Nigeria. The optics are not good, and it's getting worse by the day. In Senate crimes, all these kind of things, the candidates will bow out. I mean, in the UK, what made Boris Johnson leave office? What made him? He appointed somebody that had allegations of bullying. That's what made him leave office. Allegations.
Only bullying.
It was not confirmed. Only bullying. Allegations of bullying. He employed the person to be the head of ethics committee, and that was it. They said, and then I said, you knew that this person had these allegations. So that was all. So that's what
and just like in all of these cases, no court had actually convicted that person of bullying.
No, but that's what I'm saying. No court has convicted him. Nothing. It's just the allegations. People came out and said this guy was doing this kind of thing. This guy, and that was it. So these are the kind of, if Nigeria wants to go forward, we have to, and I think it starts from meritocracy. This thing of federal character, it has not helped anybody. Okay, somebody scores 5 in common entrance.
Let's not go there. Your time is up, because if we start that matter, we're not going to end them now. Thank you.
Okay,
let's not go there because we don't have time. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Hello, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Thank you so much. If you can help me make it 1 minute each so that we can, I'll take as many calls as possible because the phone lines are on fire.
Okay, I know that.
Thank you so much.
Somebody like this Garba that is very noisy. He's very noisy in this very country, thinking that he is the owner of the North. He will decide what happens in the North. I don't see why the North will not caution this. This man who seems to be bleaching, looking very arrogant every time. So this type of statement can destroy the country. How can somebody come out and vilify a whole tribe? It's very bad. It's very bad of this Garba. What is he trying to insinuate in this very country? It's very, very, very bad. Somebody should caution that man from the North. This man says he's going to start a development from that side. Everybody knows. I've been in the North several times. That place needs development. They say that they have been in charge for all the while. They don't have good leaders that side. They don't have good leaders. Somebody is coming now to wake up the downtrodden. He said he's trying to insult the North. What type of statement is that? It's very, very arrogant.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let's too much of him.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Much.
Thank you. All right. So back to that message. It says there's irresponsible comment shouldn't be discussed on radio. Giving such charlatans attention would only cause argument and more hate amongst people who think normally and those who are forever naive. Such a responsible comment shouldn't be promoted on radio. Oga, you don't talk on before, and I no repeat them. Aisha should be ashamed of herself for wanting to ride on a dubious and fraudulent pronouncement into office. She has shown her real character. You see why people shouldn't be carried away by hypocrisy and naivety of voting someone in the name of gender or status, becoming a first female governor. And then again, it says INEC and Tinubu comment on Adamawa is irrelevant. Is it not same cruise ship that gave him his mandate? Let them all continue disguising. That's what you said. And then I take a few more messages quickly. Senator from Isolo says, P2B has rarely suffered in this election. People always misinterpret his statements due to hatred, insult from small boys that ordinarily does not match him one-on-one. Natural hatred has a particular part of this, for a particular part of this country. Precious, don't cut people off because you read his tweets without missing words. All right, so since I read his tweets, totally. I should also let people talk. Totally. Unfortunately, my job will not let me do that. Some conversations are meant for only Twitter. You don't need to take Odu from me. So I get you. Oh, come on. My job is to bring what the conversations that Nigerians have been talking about. That's the essence of the show. We bring you hot and trending topics. So this is trending and we will talk about it. Whether it is Twitter anyway, is it not within Nigerian Twitter space? That's what we're talking about. That's the essence of this show, just so you know. All right. And he says, good evening, Prepper. Keep up the good job. Giving everybody chance to view their choices. I appreciate you. Another episode. Egege from Agege says, good evening, VOP. What I think is Adamu is being pricked by his conscience because most Nigerians are made poor by the elites amongst them, and I think Adamu Garba is one of those elites. How I wish Mr. P2B had said he would start the cause of a new Nigeria to eradicate poverty from my village. I should have celebrated it by now. What crime has Mr. P2B committed by saying his good will for Nigeria will start from the north? I think he, Obi, was just being emphatic on how much love he has for the north. Well, no cause for alarm because I know most northerners to be rational thinking people. So Adamu's noise holds no waters. That's what you said here. All right, let me go back to the phone line. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, ma.
Yes, please. Welcome.
Good evening, ma.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Very well. I am Jude from Oshodi.
Jude, you're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear you, Jude.
Yes. Actually, I'm from Benue State, which is part of the north.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Responding to what Adamu Garba has said. Let's say Adamu Garba is speaking on his own, and he's speaking on his own and within the range of his family. I don't think anybody suffering or passing through difficulties in Nigeria will voice to deny or Peter Odu of becoming president in the name that he belongs to a certain zone or a certain region. We northerners, we know what we are passing through. In fact, right now, as I'm talking to you, Benue State is on fire in the hands of the Fulani herdsmen. It's on fire totally. And let me tell you, to be precise with you, nobody is saying anything. Nobody is saying anything. So what good does these people has on this country that they will be coming to say northerners? We are northerners. But northerners that he's referring to, I don't think is northerners that some of us know, because northerners that some of us know, we are passing through pain, and we can tell you clearly that we need a change. We need a change. I'm not against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If he knows, if he knows that he can do well, it's okay. Peter Obi, if he knows that he can do well, it's okay. We are not against anybody. But all we are after is that let the country be transformed. We are going back, we are going down. So let Adamu Garba or whatever he calls himself not come here and be saying such a thing. What he said, do you know that what he said is another division that is bringing into the country? How can you just say somebody should go to other country and then proclaim a Biafra? Does Peter Obi come out as a Biafran president? Why would he be saying such things? When people voted massively for them, they went and read everything, and then now they are telling us, go let him keep his opinions. That is what I have to say.
Thank you so much for calling. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Can you help me turn up the volume of your listening device? Hello. Hello.
Good evening.
Yes, please. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm Reverend Obaji Jacobs.
Where are you calling
from Lagos.
All right, go ahead. Please help me make it in 60 seconds. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been listening to the conversation. I'm just coming down because a lot of Northerners has called to make a profound statement positively on this issue of this Garba or whatever. When I heard him, my second was talking to me. I thought, when I heard the tweet, you read it, I thought it was a man with Buhari, young man, Garba.
No, not Garba Shehu. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay. I know. I'm just saying, I came to realize that is he in LP, Labour Party?
He's in APC.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that... He's a chieftain
of APC.
Okay. What I'm trying to say is that whenever any of APC person say anything bad, people will just, even from the media, like you people, you just say, let's overlook him. Let's overlook the person. Even if he's saying, let the person that telling somebody, kill this person, they will say he's joking. Like what happened in Lagos here. Oluomo said, if you know you are an Igbo person, just stay in your house, this and that. If you come out, you... And they will say he was playing, But when Igbo man says anything, even if he didn't say the way they are saying it, they will go after him. Somebody said he's calling these people from the east to come because they were killing Igbos and burning their shop. They went after him and picked him. So I don't know what is happening. Somebody said he's going to build North. Every one of us understand that in the whole Nigeria, in the whole political zone, North is where the highest poverty is.
Thank you. You have done 2.5 minutes, so let me let you please kindly wrap up.
So what I'm saying is that we should look into this. They are just telling us what they have planned, and they always bring out somebody that will speak, and everybody will say ignore him.
Thank you.
It's unfortunate.
Thank you so much. But unfortunately, we'll raise the issue up. So, all right. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. So, if you message from our YouTube handle, YouTube chat session, Kena Ezeki says education is lower in the north too. Tometokwe Adebola says, good evening. Please help reduce. All right. Thank you. We're still working. Is that echo still there? Apologies. Ifyok Odofia says, is it the one that paid artisans to disguise as bishops that we can trust? That's what he says. And then that's, I think, reacting to what Femi Fanikaide said, that don't trust Peter Obi until he tells us why he was detained by the UK government. Right. And then Francis77 says, Adamu Garba will soon face our wrath soon. He thinks we the youths are joking. We will kilo day. No, you destroy him. All right. So I take a few more messages here. And then this message says, good evening, VOP. Please, can you people summon Adamu Garba to this, your station, for Nigerians to explain where and how did Peter Obi insult the Northerners? Please, we need an explanation, all he has said. And then he said, as for Adamawa election, saga, I would say that God is giving Nigeria another opportunity to mend their evil and wicked ways of doing things, especially our elections, and do well to embrace righteousness. Thank you. Bat Beji sending this from from Oshodi. And this says, Andrew said, I served in Sokoto. Poverty in the north is massive. Obi didn't say anything bad. He isn't God. Obi will become president by God's grace. That man can go to hell. That's what you said. All right, let me jump back to the phone lines. I'll get back to more messages later. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Evangelist Chinedu calling from Oshodi, Lagos.
Evangelist Chinedu, you're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Please, I want to react on what Adamu Garba said.
Go ahead. You have the microphone.
Say again?
I said you have the microphone. Go ahead.
So, concerning what he said, I thought this particular issue is not something that people would tell away the youth to keep calm or for we to ignore the word, because I've been hearing a lot of this, even in Lagos during the presidential election and the governorship election, where they said that if you are not voting for APC, remain in your house. And the video was played where they carry out the instruction given to them, and nothing was done. When an Igbo person came out and said that they are going to bring a unknown government or so ever to come and protect them, they send the DSS to that person. So please, people that in this country, they should not be saying something that will be making us to be scared, and after everything, people will tell us to overlook and ignore the word. It's not a matter to be ignored.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Hello, good evening to you.
Good evening, my people.
Hey,
good
Buchinedu, how are you?
What are you? What did you just call him? Buchinedu?
I'll change his name now. He likes questioning me. He likes changing my name too.
So Nedu, what's her name today?
Garba.
What's her name for today?
It's not Precious Garba.
Precious Garba, Adamu.
It's okay. I'm used to you. Go ahead. So his name is Buchinedu, calling from Switzerland. So go ahead. Let's hear you, Nedu.
So that is my full name.
Absolutely. That's your full name, right?
Yes, that's my full name. Anyway,
Okay.
let's go back to the topic.
All right, go ahead.
About the I don't know what to call him. The people deceiving themselves, trying to always manipulate people against people. I grew up in the north. I grew up in Plateau State. I can speak Hausa fluently.
So in Nigeria,
Nigeria.
Oh.
Hausa.
All right, go ahead. That's what I like to know.
Okay. I grew up there. If anybody make reference about the north, most poor Nigeria being the northerners, the person is not lying. That is the same northerner you have the most richest man in Nigeria. And I think it's the same place you will find the poorest man in Nigeria. They have it both. And it's not trying to criticize or try to put any region down. But that is the reality, because in that region I grew up there, I know how it works. I know how the system works. When one person make money, he want the whole community to serve him, and they will be blindfolded. But I don't want to go far. That guy, what former Emir of Kano, Sanisu, he makes the same reference. Why didn't he attack him? I saw the tweet, and I saw where someone googled about Nigeria, the poorest state in Nigeria, in the same post where he posted it on Twitter. He didn't reply that person, and he showed all the states in the north are number one, the most poorest state in Nigeria. You see, why these days when I make reference about this documentary by Al Jazeera, is we have rich land in the north, like Peter B said, and we have gold there, we have diamonds, we have mining, a lot of things there. But the elites are the beneficial of this. and the poor ones are serving them. This country I am, precious. They don't have anything, but you'll find everything inside. Swiss gold. Everybody wants to buy Swiss gold. Where is the Swiss gold coming from? It's coming from
But
Africa.
Can you help
It's
me?
just
Can you help me wrap up so I can take more calls? I have very limited time left.
So, the guy that tried to even his daughters now have sense. Not that they don't have sense before. They have sense. They know what is going on. They know that these people always try to manipulate them. So, this election, it opens everybody's eye. It opens everybody's eye that we even know that the numbers they are calling before is not. These numbers are not even available at any time, any moment.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So Lagos, we're looking at a couple of conversations, and one of that is Adamu Garba's reaction to a series of tweets by Peter Obi, where Peter Obi said, beyond regaining his mandate, that he's committed to lifting people out of poverty and remain committed to transforming Nigeria, starting from the north to every part of the nation. And Adamu Garba reacted to that and said, "We know you are insulting us, we the Northerners, Mr. Peter Obi, and we are assuring you that as far as the presidency of Nigeria is concerned, it shall remain in your illusionary dream forever." And then he further says, "You would never come close to it. You bigoted, religious, ethnocentric merchant. You can go to Finland to contend with your new Biafra government in exile." And that's the conversation we've been having, Lagos. Let's go back to the phone lines. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, welcome. What's your name, sir?
It's my first phone caller.
Wait, why is my bell?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
I'm calling from Ikoto.
All right, you're welcome. Go ahead. If you can make it in 60 seconds, that'll be great.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead. Help us make your conversation in 60 seconds.
Garoba is an illiterate by saying that. Garoba saying that is an illiterate. I brought up in Yola. I hear Fulani very well. I hear Hausa very, very well. Shikuma, I don't think what I have to do by the Shiva.
What does that mean?
When you finish saying, please help us interpret it.
Excuse me. I'm speaking out for him and Fulani for him. Because what he says is that's what they are saying all over, not him alone. But Peter B didn't do anything. Peter B didn't talk anything bad. I brought up in Yola. I brought up in Adamawa State. And Adamawa, what's happening in Adamawa now. And Adamu didn't talk anything about that. He's only talking about Peter B. Peter B is an innocent man. Very innocent. Look at what's happening in Lagos here. Nobody talk about it. And they are talking about Peter B. God will bless Peter B. And God will Peter B success Nigeria free.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Interesting conversation. Barrister Stanley, I'm sure you're like, what kind of callers do you have in this station? All right. Good evening, guys. Jide Ekene from Hilltop Estate says, Peter Obi meant every bit of what he said. He has repeated it in campaign grounds that North will bring the prosperity needed in Nigeria via agriculture because of their vast land is uncultivated. North. He said, note this, precious. You guys leave that pray for TV. He said, note this, pray. When a woman wants to pick quarrel with her co-wife, she will simply ask her, give me oil or chew palm fruit, just trying to heat up the politics. Garba is trying all means to be relevant in the next APC regime, just shaking the table. That's what he said. And then this message says, Asas says, is it the same Garba, the big baby? I rest my case. But I'm certain my guys in the north don't even know him and don't take him serious. He said, that aside, DSS should please ask Garba that what he meant by that, because the last time I checked, we are in a democracy. For Femi Fani-Kayode, the drama queen, Nigerians trust Peter Obi more than they trust you, who told us in the past that you would rather die than join the APC. Osa said that, not me. I'm reading a message. All right. Okay. All right. Then this message says, this man called Garba is telling the Igbo to wake up. That's simply what he said. Do you think so? I'm Temitope Adebola from YouTube chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the feedback. Mekabara says, hi from London. It's only logical that P2B starts from the north. Empowerment of the people will eradicate poverty, which in turn would reduce crime. Highest rate of abduction in the north, and P2B is right. He says there is no individual country in the world that has collectively the amount of mineral resources that Nigeria has, but most of our minerals are illegally mined to have he said to have minerals not officially registered. That's what you have said. All right, going back to the phone lines now. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Precious and Co. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Your line is not very clear. What's your name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Alex. I'm calling from.
So if you can call us back later. We can't hear you. The line is
I can hear you.
We can't hear you clear. We can't hear you. It's not clear.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
It's not. It's shaking. If you can go back to this recording, you hear it. It's not clear at all. It's not clear. So you can try to reach us back, please. Apologies. I understand how difficult it is to go through to us and, why you want to stay back, but please forgive us. All right, so the phone numbers are still there. 081-644-25875. 081-644-25875. You can also try the smart number 0700-903-903-903. If you're watching from YouTube and you're in the diaspora and would like to chime in on the conversation, you can call the WhatsApp line. The WhatsApp line is 0700-903-9039. 0700-903-9039. So you can just do us a WhatsApp call and we're right here to pick your calls. Hello, good evening.
Hi, Precious.
Hello.
I promise.
Hi,
good evening.
Good evening. This is John calling from Berlin. How are you?
John, you're welcome. We did fine. How your side?
Yeah, very, very good. This one way they rush everybody these days. I don't understand.
No time now.
Anyways,
we get a step down section. We suppose don't start the step down segment. Our lawyer, they here.
Oh,
Our lawyer
really?
want to give us breakdown on the step down. So we need to wrap up.
Okay, all right. Let me just use 60 seconds. Let me just use 60 seconds and say what I want to say.
All right.
I think I will concur with what P2B. I think I listened to the news this evening and I saw what P2B said, and he said one thing. He said that a new Nigeria is possible, and he said he should not expect the bad people and the evil leaders to fold their hands. That they will definitely fight back, and to my greatest surprise, this Adamu just proved him right, that they are going to fight back in any way necessary. So for me, I just feel you are just making P2B words to stand out than any other thing. For me, that's what I just feel. He just said it not quite long. He said it. You are proving him wrong. You are proving him right that you're going to fight back. And he said you will not even smell the seeds.
That's what
he's fighting him. He's not even fighting. He's fighting Nigeria. Yeah. So he's fighting the old Nigerians. So I don't get time to come. They waste my power. They talk Garba this, Garba. I'm not. Make it. They do what they do. Let me wait for the step down segment. I'm listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You will enjoy the step down. Don't worry. Thank you. Hello. Good evening to you. Hello.
Okay.
Oh yeah. All right. Okay. I lost that call. All right, Lagos. Yeah. Hello. Good evening. Hello. What's going on here? Hello, good evening. So if you can hear me, we cannot hear you. Please do well to call us back. We are here to take your call. Please, just call us back if you can hear me. I didn't get that. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Welcome.
This is Chris from Oshogo.
This is who?
Peace.
Can you help me turn up the volume of your radio? Chris.
Yeah.
Chris, the volume of your radio is high. You can hear that echo, right? Chris, we can't have a clear conversation. We can't hear what you're saying. Do you understand?
Hello?
Hello, Chris. Turn down the volume. You know what? All right, let's take another call. Hello, good evening. Hello? Are you there? Good evening.
Yeah, this is Leo calling from now.
Hello? Leo, we can't hear you. Can you put your by your microphone so we can hear you better?
Yeah, I said this is Leo calling from now.
All right, Leo from Dallas. Leo, how are you? It's been a while.
Thank you.
I can barely hear you. You're talking with bedroom voice. Can you move to the parlor?
Can you hear me now?
This is much better. So go ahead.
Okay. All right. Let me a few things. Yeah. So briefly and quickly. So
when this is what I've observed, when someone who is part of APC goes around and call people religious bigot and read it, you just read it out. So if I say that man is an illiterate, he's a big fool, or he's an idiot, he's a nincompoop.
But you don't use those words on radio now. Okay, you're just giving examples.
Okay,
It's not like
but
you're
then
using
he
those
just
words.
yes, but he
okay.
just went on insulted Mr. Peter Obi as a religious god and call him a Biafra. What if that same tweet was done to Mr. President-elect? Will you air that? That's my question. Will you air it? Because if you do, you are risking your own, you practicing journalism as well as your station. It is not fair. When he makes such statements, don't read them as well on television. Don't. Because he has no right to say what he said. But if you can, because he's APC, I mean, they have the government in their hands.
That's not true, Leo. So Leo, our
whatever they want to say.
duty is to bring what, the conversations that Nigerians are having to your table. Because not all Nigerians are on social media. So if an important issue is trending on social media, are you saying that Nigerians that are outside social media don't have the right to be privy of it? Is that what you're saying?
No, but
because that's the essence of this show.
What he said, you should blank out the fact what he said. Blank it as you blank others.
All right, go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. Blank him as you blank others. Don't let him come and don't read his tweet as well, because I can go be on the president-elect and insult him. Will you read it? That's the question. Is it fair?
Are you done? So we can move on.
Please, the vex with me. I just talk my mind.
We get plenty
they pepper me for body. They pepper me for body. They pepper me for body. They pepper me for body.
You'll be calming down. If they really pepper you for you to complain like this.
Sorry. Here, I understand how you feel. Sorry.
Una stay well, una stay blessed.
Oh yeah, you stay well and blessed too. Bye. Thank you. Hello.
Bye.
Yes, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Welcome.
This is from Oshoda.
All right, Chris, you're welcome. Go ahead.
I say what only lawyers work Garba said. I mean Garba with
No. Adamu Garba. Which one is you? You come. Don't go call somebody else.
Sorry, Adamu Garba.
What someone said concerning P2B, someone should go to the arrested like this is by man.
So the reason I'm raising all of this topic is, I mean,
I said that P2B from Finland. He should go to the arrested and tell us well how P2B is from Finland. And it's not the way the arrested
your line is getting muffled up again. Right. I get your point.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So this message says, Paul Atundo says, I think P2B is right. The people are just trying to fight the last fight instead of them talking about how to tackle insecurity in the north. They are trying to demarket Peter Obi. So let's go back to this conversation before we move to a step-down conversation. Barrister Stanley, very quickly, would that statement or reaction from that statement from Adamu Garba in any way look, I wouldn't say treasonable, because I don't know, how do you view that reaction from Adamu Garba from the legal perspective?
I think sometimes we just have to drop legal perspective aside and make use of common sense. Things like this here, they intentionally make statements like this just to incite and spike people. It's been fun listening to the conversations from the callers. And it will be told that these things are being said for their a particular targeted audience, just to say, okay, P2B, people will carry it. But I think Nigeria, they've actually transcended from that arena where they will say, okay, it's true, P2B is insulting us, P2B is a religious bigot. But that's not true. Whatever is made in that statement is correct. People are using stances from the north. I also did my law school in the north. I live and practice in Abuja. So talking about not being, to some extent, not to a greater extent, is true. But reactions like this from Adamu Garba, I know, I always known him to be a political jobber. He always make a statement, something to put him in the mouth or in the lips of people or in the news, so that he will gain some some fair share of the popularity, so that he knows what he's expecting from all this. But it's not.
So you think it's deliberately blowing hot just because he wants attention?
All these things are
that's what you
deliberate.
think.
All these things are deliberate.
Okay. All right. So let's move now, Lagos, to our step down conversation, because it's exactly
clout. Is it okay
chasing
to
clout,
say
more like
chasing clout?
Of course,
that's a Gen Z term. Chasing clout is a Gen Z term. Okay. All right. So Lagos, let's move now to our step down conversation. So for all of you who are married, who intend to be married, who have left marriage, who wants to go back to marriage, who wants to be coupled, if you're single and want to be plural, this conversation is for you. So Barrister Stanley is going to help us down the road of what property sharing is like in Nigeria after divorce. You know, there are countries where, okay, maybe they make it a rule that you may have to share the property 50-50 based on what you have. Or some people will say, oh, you can come with what you have and go back with, everybody can go with go separate with what they brought in, right? So I do not know what the laws says or what the laws says when it comes to property sharing during divorce in Nigeria. But I do know that I've seen, a couple of situations in Nigeria where marriages fail. And in fairness, in every fairness, I'm sorry, but I don't want to say that I do think that the marital laws are not fair to women in Nigeria. I'm almost forced to say that, because if you look at what the divorced women in other countries go through and what Nigerian women that are divorced have to go through, it's like, I'm not saying that it's fair to be greedy. I'm not one who would call for that, right? Or one who would call for the fact that you should fight for something you did not work for. However, there are situations where women truly, in this country, women have actually worked for some of those properties. You see that the women are actually the ones who helped the man to grow. But at the times the marriage will fail, she'll practically be thrown out of the house with nowhere to go to, with no shelter. In fact, according to my personal research as a media person, it's observed that so many people who are in marriages that seem not to be working, so many women who are stuck in marriages that seem not to be working, are there because they feel still economically dependent on the man. That is to say that if they were a bit independent rather, they probably would have left that marriage because of whatever it is that they are going through. So it is, it's on that background that we thought, okay, let's call Barrister Stanley. Come and help us, educate us. What is property sharing like if couples are to say, you know what, we don't want to do again? Why are you smiling? Why are you smiling? Why are you smiling?
My time has finally come.
Okay, your time has come. All right. Let's hear you.
All these politics can be draining, the political talk.
Oh, so you don't even like politics in the first place? Okay, so let's go there.
All right. I think specifically what you're saying, to some extent, is true. That I've seen, there is a high rate of divorce in Nigeria. But the people are stuck in marriage because first thing first, they couldn't or they cannot afford the cost of divorce. Secondly, what will people say? Thirdly, they are still economically dependent on their spouses. And I don't see why I don't see how that is the problem of our laws. The laws are there. If you go to court and enforce your right in law, your laws.
But Barrister Stanley, sorry to cut you off. Is the law fair to Nigerian women? Is Nigerian
Why are you
law?
Smiling now?
Is Nigerian marital law fair to women?
This is actually a subjective question. I don't know.
No, the way you laughed as if there is a cockroach somewhere in your cupboard.
It's more like you were trying to put me on the spot. But this is actually a subjective question, and that I can give a subjective answer. Okay. Maybe the way I was cited as a man is different from the way I was cited as a lawyer, and it's different from the way.
So I'm asking, coming in. I'm taking my point of view from Peter Okoye and his wife. Their divorce saga. It was all over the internet, and she filed during her divorce filing. It was said that she filed for $15,000 for custody every month, and that case was thrown out. She got nothing.
Now, are you privy? That's the thing. Are you privy to the process? Are you privy to the judgment?
And because she has three kids for this man.
No, that's not what. There's no court that will do that. Sometimes things that trend on social media is quite different from what is up. I've actually handled celebrity divorce. In fact, it's one I'm currently doing now. But things that is being said on social media different from, and there's no how we come. Yes, what the law said, I think, is this settlement of property is provided in section 72 of the Matrimonial Causes Act. What the law says is the court is at least have the discretion to provide or to settle the property or to give in accordance with what they deem to be fair and equitable. Now, there's no how sometimes a woman, or it's always the women that is always filing for divorce, is 70 to 90% of the cases.
So let's even talk about that. Why will it be the woman who will file for divorce in the first instance? So I've had a situation where a man and a woman has been separated for years, 8-10 years, gone down. The man has even gone ahead to marry someone else traditionally, but refused to be the one to file.
I'm sorry to cut you off there. There is something a lot of Nigerian men do. You see these people that they get married under the Marriage Act, they get married legally, but when they get separated, they go ahead and get married again. Isn't that bigamy?
Traditionally.
Without divorcing their wives.
They'll tell you that they don't owe you to divorce you traditionally before they move on.
Isn't that bigamy? Isn't that
And
against the law?
Tell that same man, oh, you file now. The man will not file.
The men never file for divorce.
Till the woman files. Oh, yeah,
they never file for divorce. They just go ahead. They just move on and get married and continue their life. It's like it's normal in Nigeria.
He's looking like he's dodging this village. Like, why are these women on me? Like this.
The way both of you are on me, I feel I'm being attacked.
We are sorry. We're sorry to feel that way.
So our step down section is usually, very relaxing conversation.
If someone that had been married under the act and you are not divorced, the pronouncement of dissolution of marriage have not been made on that marriage, and what are you married? That's bigamy. And the women,
has the law held anybody responsible in Nigeria for the bigamy?
Of course, the law. Yes. There is. Yes, I forgot.
And there is penalty for that, right?
Yes, there is.
What's the penalty? Really?
I think it's prison term. I think. See? But people don't go. Maybe because of a woman, a Nigerian woman, because of the society, will not want to drag the ex-husband to court and say, "Why will you taking reporting?" But there is. I think in Imo State there is a case last year. I'm trying to remember the name. These are laws. If you refuse, nobody will enforce your right for you if you refuse to enforce it. Nobody will just wake up and say, the court will not just, the court is not busybody to say, okay, this, because of, no, you have to go there and enforce your right.
So Nigerian women usually leave it for God to judge.
They don't.
Let God be the judge.
The truth is now, the Nigerian women are actually, they are the ones that have been initiating a high rate.
So why do you think the women are filing more now?
I think it's because of...
and why do you think the men are not the ones filing? I'd like to really get your honest opinion. Because you've handled quite a number of those cases. So we'd like to hear from you.
The truth is, something that will trigger a woman will not necessarily trigger... And I'm talking from the psychological part of it. A thing that will... I've seen someone call me as late as 2 a.m. because of that. She wants to file a divorce and stuff. But because a thing is because of they are quick to anger... Sometimes when I'm trying to.
No, I don't think anger is a sex thing.
So let's let him finish.
It's okay.
Now, if the number one reason I've always seen, if you ask them a woman why is she filing for divorce, is maybe because of cheating. Is always this thing. My husband.
And you think that's enough? That's not enough reason.
Of course, that's a good. That's a solid ground for divorce. That's a solid ground. But I think a man has that's I'm trying. Struggling not to be on this spot because
you're a man.
No.
Because you're a man.
No, you're not a man right now.
That you're supporting a particular gender, right?
We are a legal practitioner. Don't worry. Forget about we are follow G's. Just yours as a follow guy, man. It's okay.
I'm not a guy. I'm not a guy.
But if a woman that will always go to court, enforce your right. But the thing is, there are things that could be settled amicably. There are things that shouldn't evolve in when you see is always draining when you see a former lovebirds that promise themselves that is till they do them part, see them dragging themselves to court and threatening to destroy each other. You feel like these things sometimes you just try not to be as or sound insensitive, but things actually not that they're actually trivial issues that we just settle. Not to talk about. If what I always say advice is unless it has to do with your life is at stake. There is a physical domestic abuse. That one, there is no need.
Life-threatening issues.
Life-threatening issues.
Now, when you say physical domestic abuse, it's very, very. I don't want to say it's condescending to people who suffer emotional abuse that can kill them. From my research and what I have heard and what I do know and what I've seen people experience, I've even realized that emotional and psychological abuse in marriages are even greater than physical abuses. And they actually kill the person. They actually kill more than physical abuse.
Isn't that part of the domestic abuse?
No, he's saying physical domestic abuse. That's what he said. He said physical domestic abuse.
The truth is,
and that's why I hatched on that conversation. So how about people who are going through emotional even the men? The men, men are not talking. A lot of men are going through lots of emotional abuse in their marriages. A man who would suffer, probably an Uber driver, run Uber from morning to night, bring money to wife will abuse him. See you, this is the kind of money you're giving me. A nonsense man like you cannot walk like a fellow man, stupid man.
I know my gender right?
So a lot of men are going through a lot of emotional abuse that they cannot talk about, and they're enduring this, and this is reducing their lifespan, this is reducing their quality of life, and that is also draining, and that can kill. So how about that? So let's not trivialize that aspect.
We are not trivializing it, but the truth is our laws have not recognized that aspect.
Why will our
emotional abuse?
Why will our law not recognize that? It's abuse. I thought we had different types of abuse.
It's difficult to convince or to quantify that kind of abuse or tell the court. It's not. I mean, under family law, they listed out grounds for you to file a divorce, and psychological or emotional abuse is not one of them. So
are you serious?
It's not solid enough. So
no, but why are our laws not updated? Are you saying that psychological abuse is not a thing?
Of course it is. I've seen people that.
So how can we not have that in law?
Maybe till when is amended, but till now, psychological or emotional abuse is not a ground. You cannot go to court and say, okay, one of the ground. It all boils down. Has it caused the marriage to break down? That's the word the law used, the statute. Has it caused the marriage to break down irretrievably? And one of the grounds they say cheating, domestic violence, but psychological emotional abuse is not yet there yet. But going back to the settlement of property.
Do you know verbal abuse can lead to emotional abuse?
Barrister Stanley, talking about trivializing emotional abuse, do you think African laws subjugate women? Do you think African laws are made perpetually to subjugate women?
Now, when we talk about the origin, where our law started from, is actually laws are made from the cultures of the people. Just like when you go to northern part of Nigeria where there is Sharia law, it's permitted in our law that a husband can flog the wife. It's being made from the
in Sharia law.
Yes, in Sharia law, and it is made from the culture and the religion. So talking of course, our laws to some extent, to some greater extent, especially in Africa, subjugated women to some kind of, but it is more like an upbringing of what is being uplifted from the culture, from the Nigerian,
from our culture and the value they think it's what is right to them.
Under some of our culture, it's wrong for a woman to talk back at the husband. Is wrong. Now those are the things that our laws, and in some cultures, if a woman is not allowed or permitted to own a property, and to some extent our laws recognize that, although some have been amended. So it's not actually a law thing. There is no how that laws are not just made from the sky. Is what.
So Barrister Stanley, we don't have so much time. You did not answer the question I asked you. I think you just tried to, manipulate us. Maybe you're scared the fact because we're all women. Abigail is joining in this conversation, by the way. So I'll have her also say her thoughts and her mind on this conversation. So going back to what we're saying, why do you think more women are filing for divorce than men? And why are the men not filing? That's what, from your experience, you've handled quite a lot of those cases. I'd like to know.
It is actually more scary that young marriages less than 2 years are filing for divorce.
Wow.
If you go to court now, I mean, a judge have to cry out the other day and said there's no day in court that he doesn't more than 5 cases. Is actually scared something that
scary statistics.
I mean, it's something that you will see. There is no day. If I tell people that there is no day that passes that I will not get a brief on divorce. And if you ask them,
and it has to be young couple,
married there's couple. No day. I have, if you check my mails, daily thing that you say, okay, so, and it's always women that are always initiating the process. Maybe one of the things that men always try to is actually a tactic. Maybe when you go to court, it's you that fight for divorce that will bear the financial cost and the rest. But in some instance, the court can make a pronouncement that the financial implication, let it be split among the spouse. But I'm trying to look at the way to justify it, maybe legally speaking, why women only fight for divorce. But it's more of a psychological thing than a legal thing, that a woman is more prone to anger, a woman is more to, but on the side of the men, what they are trying to avoid is not solid enough for me to go to court, or is not, I'd rather be separated than trying to incur.
But those men get separated, they move on with their lives, they even remarry traditionally, but they still don't go file for divorce. So that's like stagnating the woman's life. That's exactly why I'm asking, why do you think the men are not filing? Is it because the society permits them to easily move on with their lives?
The society permits everyone to move on with their life.
So what is happening? Why are the men not fighting? Why will it be a woman that will fight for divorce? Because if you're saying now that the woman who files, the men have more money than women. Now, if it's the financial aspect now. So go ahead, Abigail.
All right. So thank you. Good evening, Lagos. I like to say that the African man, especially in Nigeria, there's this ego existing in the man, and most times when we talk about things like divorce, the man would rather go for the shortcut instead of doing the long way. You can see that the man, while in the marriage, still goes out to start another family, and he lives his life like nothing happens. But it's not like that with women, because women are emotional beings, and the best way to show they are disgruntled is to go to court. So that's why you see most women running to the court. Meanwhile, the men just take the easy route, start another family, and then just move on like nothing.
So why can't the women just move on and get married and move on with their
because
house?
Move ahead with their life.
Move on with their lives too.
Remember, the society is hardly fair on women. The society makes a lot of demands on women. The society will not allow a married woman who is disgruntled and wants to leave her marriage to move on just as the man is. You will see they will permit the man and make excuses for the man for doing the same thing that the woman does, that they maybe want to have a head for it. So the society is not balanced. I listened to the barrister talk, and he's saying emotional abuse is not a thing in law. So I would like to ask you, if you have the opportunity, if you have the space to make this a thing in law, would you go ahead and do it?
It's for me now. Am I the barrister?
Like one of those bills you want to pass, instead of saying doctors should spend extra 5 years in Nigeria before getting licensed, would you want to say, okay, being a barrister who has handled these divorce cases, you would want to recommend emotional abuse as a thing in law? Would you want to do it?
As a crime too.
Of course.
Why would you do it?
Why would I do it?
Yes.
I've seen people that died as a result of depression. I've seen
people are losing their mind. People go crazy. People get insane, like purely insane, and never get back to their sensibility again because of emotional abuse.
And it's a deadly thing because you cannot quantify it. You cannot see it physically.
Exactly.
So that's why people tend to die. If you hear some people open up to you, you know that there is a man that was in my office last year in Abuja. That was the first time I'm seeing like a 50-something-year-old man. He broke down literally in tears. He was crying.
Oh my goodness.
He came with a full notebook where he wrote down. He took his time.
Like a diary.
He broke down. He started crying. And I have seen these are the things. He said he can comfortably cry where I am because I'm a lawyer. Could understand, but he cannot tell this thing to his friend. Cannot tell this to his mom, and he say.
Goes back to the society.
Yes, and then the mom will be like, you're a man. You don't have to cry.
You have to manage.
So Barrister Stanley, let's go to property sharing because we don't have much time and our phone lines are already buzzing. What's the law as regards property sharing after dissolution of marriage?
Now, I think it's one of the two main factors when that is always in question in divorce proceeding. It's always custody of the children and who gets what and who does not get what. Now, in some jurisdiction, like in the US, the law.
Nigerian own now they look. Leave the old.
No, that's where we borrowed. Okay. Don't forget that we borrowed our law from the UK, US.
Okay.
So what I say is the property should be split. That's some jurisdiction, 50-50. That is. There are restrictions to this law. It only has to do with, they call it marital or spousal property. That means the property you acquired during that time that you're married.
During the marriage.
So maybe you are a woman, you are from a rich home. Those your inheritance, family inheritance, is not to be included. It's not part of it.
Interesting.
So but Nigeria, what the law says is, I think section 72 of the Matrimonial Causes Act, that it is at the discretion of the court to make pronouncement as to.
So there's actually no particular rating.
There's no particular fees.
So now the judge, your case is in the hands of the judge.
So with everything we borrowed from the UK and the US, we still didn't find anything in particular.
Who has the higher responsibility? If the woman is keeping custody of the children, if the woman is taking custody, of course, the judge is commonsensically to make a pronouncement for the woman to get like a huge chunk of, or to be paid alimony or for spousal or children support, but it's strictly under the jurisdiction of the court or under the discretion of the court to make pronouncement as to who gets what in the Nigeria setting.
All right, so I have a lot of messages. Let me see if I can run through them very quickly. John Okoli says, "Are you guys speaking from experience? Make una no chop the lawyer or something like that." And then Blessed said, "The problem why some marriages is not working is because we suddenly forget our cultures. In ancient day, if you want to marry, you have to consult your Ifa to know if he or she is the right person for you.
What
We
if
don't do
Ifa is
consulting
wrong?
again." All right. So Lagos phone lines are open 0816-442-5875. Let's see if we can take a number of calls before we, drop out. 0816-442-5875. Let me quickly run through a few of these other messages. Jide Ekele from Hilltop Estate says, "Prepare one name. I think divorce and property sharing is for big men and property owners and all that." He said, as I day where I get one TV,
Aye.
one phone, and one I'm struggling to pay my children's school fees. Are you and you are divorcing or asking for property share? You dey waste your time. Even as I day, you guys stop now. Allow me read this message. You say, even as I day, you say, even as I day, you want all the children. I go voluntarily give you all, and I will promise her that I can volunteer to be washing their clothes as at when needed as my own little contribution to the marriage. You know why my case be like this? Flogging dead horse. Ekele, you not kill me. And then let me read through this message very quickly. This message says, if you don't have a source of income as a human being, don't get into marriage hoping to get something out of other person when you file for divorce. If a woman initiates divorce, she wants to leave willingly. Why demand money from someone you don't want to be with anymore? Why is she demanding for 15,000? That's talking about Jude Okoye's wife. Paul. Is it Paul now?
It's Paul,
Is she a thief? Why must a man pay when it's to the agreement of marriage?
That
if
was
you
for
say
child support.
child support, who do the woman? I say, how do the woman know the pay? Why women need the payment or kids for custody? Divorce favor women a lot, and some have seen it as investment to cash out from. Women are emotional beings, but multiple cases of women having 7 kids for different men out of marriage, and some people blame society for that ignorance. And then very quickly this message says, "Good evening, Precious and Promise." That's all I have to write right now to say at this moment, but I still stand small. If you know your father has the security agency's police commissioner's number and all of the top military officers' number, you overheard your father saying he doesn't. I don't understand what you say. He said that's why politicians, friends, and not can say, "Oh, let me go to the phone lines." Sorry, 1 second. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Very quickly, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Clinton, calling from Quebec.
Clinton, you're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
All right. I was trying the question of why do ladies file for divorce
More than men. Yes, exactly.
From a personal perspective, I would say that first, we make this reference.
Can you put your mouth by your microphone so we can hear you better? You say what?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, it's better now. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm trying to say that one who has a property to lose will not push for a fight. I don't know if you get that. One who has many things to lose will not be the one to push for a fight. Okay, let's say for the lady is pushing for a divorce more than the men. They know that they are the one that is going to get a property share. And the one to get from the share. So let's look at. I don't know if you're aware of this Akimi issue.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Well, but let's not drag you. We don't have time. We don't have time, really.
Husband property. Why she has her own, and
So,
her own is not shared.
so you think that it is the person who has something to lose does not file for divorce? That's basically what you think. Is that what you're saying? All right. Thank you. I appreciate you. Apologies. We do not have so much time to, dilly-dally on long questions. Apologies. Gil, you were about to say something.
Okay, I just wanted to ask our barrister this particular questions because most times we know the African homes. When you have husband and wife acquiring properties, most African women are so naive that they let the property go in the name of the husband. So when there is a divorce case, how does this woman prove to the court that this is my property?
True.
Okay, in a place where she has receipts for these things that she has contributed for the house, and then the house is in the name of her husband. How does she get the
or,
custody?
or it can be written Mr. and Mrs. Francis instead of Stella and Francis, right?
And it could be anybody. So what's the place of the law in a peculiar case like this?
All right, so before you answer, let's take this call. Ouch, I lost it. Okay, so I think I have a few questions on my WhatsApp here. I'm trying to see if I can run through them very, very quickly. You guys, the way the calls are coming in, my phone lines are absolutely on fire. So, okay, so this message says, all right, the calls are even freezing my phone lines. All right, so let's have you react, Barrister Stanley, because I can't seem to open my messages. The calls are, jamming my lines together. Barrister Stanley, let's have you react.
In divorce, if a woman can show that she made even a significant contribution, let's say even if a land is purchased and the woman built on it, or the man built the house and the woman furnished it, even if it's not significant, any kind of contribution is, then that property is to be deemed as if it is jointly owned. That means the man cannot just sell it outrightly without the permission of the woman.
What if it's a situation where the woman's name is
not
not explicitly written in that document?
It doesn't matter if the woman can prove that she contributed to the building.
All right. Okay. All right. So this message says, hey, what's happening now? So this message was talking about if they don't have kids. What if they don't have kids and they've been separated for about 2 years? I think this person is writing from experience, as it were. Like they don't have kids and they have been separated for about 2 years. What do they share and how do they share the sharing, since there is no kids to split or no custody of kids to battle?
Depending on what they have. Depending. And as just like I said, in Nigeria's situation, is the court that determines what is fair
that.
And
So he says, good evening, Precious. What about if both does not have kids and have been separated for 2 years now and not yet divorced? John Ladiek Bariga from Bariga sent in that message. The reason is asking this, like other countries, like again the US. I think the man will always have to move out of the house with the woman from the woman.
It's not always the case.
It's not always the case. That is if the man is a benefactor.
It's not always the case.
Right.
Sometimes the woman have to move out of the house for
so the person who has more funds should move out or moves out. That's what happens.
It's actually in the US. It's actually a 50-50 thing. It depends on depending on if the woman is the one that grieves the husband. The law is that the woman should move out. Let's say the woman that is being found, as the woman is the one that domestically abuse or physically abusing the man, or the woman is the one that was caught cheating. Then it's deemed that the woman, and if the woman has more wealth than the man. So it depends. It's just like
so. Answer Abigail's questions very quickly. We have just 30 seconds to wrap up the show. We've already answered that question. All right. So your final thoughts on this, based on your experience, what do you think is a major reason people are filing for divorce these days?
I think jumping into marriage is one of it, especially all these young couples. You see them.
You're a young man. Are you married?
That's why I'm scared.
Does it scare you? Oh, you scared
you? What the things I see on daily basis, the thought of that, I think I need to undergo therapy before, and the things I've heard, I think I need to undergo. I mean, people that were purportedly in love before in 6 months, 1 year, coming telling you how to, plotting with you how to destroy this person, and you'll be like, what went wrong?
That could mess up someone's
yes, and what went wrong?
All right, thank you. We've had Barrister Stanley Aleke join us. Thank you so much. It's been an intense 2 hours conversation, and I dare say 2 full hours conversation. I do hope that you oblige us next time we'll call you. I think we did not do justice to this whole marital issue and divorce thing, because phone lines have been buzzing. People want to talk to you and they can't get through to you. Do you promise us that you come back next time? Let's properly dissect this issue.
All right,
You're making a promise, right? Thank you so much. Agibel, thank you so much for coming through.
I will just leave by saying that people should not be carried away by the frenzy of marriage. They should try to inculcate the attributes of always signing prenuptial agreements. This will save a lot of divorce.
But why are people even scared of prenuptials? Yeah, even like prenup.
Is prenup even a thing in Nigeria?
It's not.
How many people know about
but I think we should.
Or postnup in Nigeria?
That's why I said we shouldn't be carried away by the frenzy and think before you actually settle down with that person.
Love conquers everything.
Oh, and then when it goes sour, you now start asking yourself, is this love?
All right, promise your party should very in 10 seconds. We don't have time.
Why would someone want to be greedy and take? You're filing for property that you didn't even help him, to acquire. Don't be greedy if you know you didn't help him in any way. If you want to divorce, take your thing, take what's yours. I think everybody should just take what's theirs. It's best for everybody.
All right. Thank you so much, Lagos. This is the show today. We do this every Monday to Friday, 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and Tuesdays and Wednesdays we run 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Thank you so much. We'll do this again tomorrow, Lagos. My name is Precious Enyi. On social media, I am Precious Enyi Official on Instagram. Enyi is spelled E-N-Y-I. It means friend, by the way. So I'm, resolved to be your friend till